Dan, you never cease to amaze me. You know, I am very fortunate to have been introduced by some of the all-time Pittsburgh greats, Myron Cope, the late great Bob Prince, Bill Hillgrove, and now Stan Savran, and by far you are the worst one I ever had. Anyhow, it's always great to come back here to Altoona where the air is fresh, getting out of Pittsburgh. But anyhow, first of all, I got to introduce a very important person. This is the third time I've been here. And I used to come up to Tyrone every year to play golf in Harry Sickler's Bullpen Open. What a name for a golf tournament. Well, my wife never believed me coming up to Altoona on a Friday and Saturday in the tuxedo. She wondered what the hell I was doing up here. Anyhow, my wife, Norma, stand up back there. Norma, she's sitting with Harry back there. We'll be married 45 years pretty soon. Now, don't clap, because when you're coaching and you're recruiting and you're playing away games and you're in the NFL and you're at training camp for 6 weeks at a time, we figured it out. Out of the 45 years we've been married, we actually were together 38 of them times. So don't get a 9-to-5 job. Anyhow, driving up here, we got lost. Went through Bellwood. That one street light you guys have down there is a Church of the Nazarene sitting there. And they have this billboard with these lights around it, and there's always a message. And the message said, if you are finished with sin, please stop in. I pulled up a little closer, and someone written in lipstick, if not, please call Sally at 841-555-1212. It's great to see my friend from Hopewell High School, Paul Pozlesny, here, a great linebacker from Penn State. I almost went to Penn State. I came very, very close, and good thing I remembered not to go there. But anyhow, Paul tried to get in the pit. Oh, I better watch those Penn State jokes. He's going to be in pro football someday. I wish he would graduate so we wouldn't have to play against him. Oh, by the way, I was in Youngstown the other day, and Penn State's going to play Youngstown. They won't play Pitt. But I asked Joe, what about that? He said, well, Youngstown is 65 miles away from Pittsburgh. That's close enough. Anyhow, I'm here to introduce my good friend who I haven't seen in a long, long time, Ralph Conrad. And he has a bunch of family sitting up here, and I'm sure that you guys will all be introduced by Ralphie. I still call him Ralphie when he was a freshman. He came to Pitt. I remember he came in for a visit, and they let me take him around. And I asked him, I said, why are you coming to Pitt? He said, I couldn't get in Penn State. That's true. I said, why? He said, boy, their admissions test was tough. They asked me, what language do they speak in Germany? You'll get that one pretty soon, too. Anyhow, he must have had a brain transplant. Within 4 years, he did graduate from Pitt. In fact, he was one of our best honor students we ever had at Pitt. You know those guys that go up and say, yes, Your Honor, no, Your Honor? Ralph was right there with them. When he first got there, I said to Ralph, you know, he's a kid from Altoona. He still had coal dust in his hair, that little flat top that he had. I said, Ralph, what do you want to do today? He said, I want to wrestle. I said, Ralph, our girls in Pittsburgh aren't that big. Anyhow, after we went out, we had a real good time, and I guess we sold them. And you know, back in those days, they gave you $10 to take a recruit out. $10. Well, it was about midnight. I said, Ralph, are you hungry? He said, yeah. We stopped at Beddoes. He had 4 pieces of pizza. On the way home, we stopped at Whitey White Tire. You know those little hamburgers? He ate 14 of them. I didn't make any money on that one. Anyhow, as a freshman, how about as a freshman? And I took this from him. Statistics, 25 tackles, 15 assists, 4 sacks, 5 tackles for a loss, 2 caused fumbles, 1 interception for a touchdown. That wasn't Ralph Conrad, that was Mike Ditka. Anyhow, in seeing my good friend, it brought back a lot of memories. And reading his bio here and going back, and I know he and Mike were very competitive. They were a little bit younger than me. And I know when he was at Pitt, he played right next to me, and it was funny because we had these two big offensive tackles. Then you had these little short guys, a little short Italian, a little short Irish guy, a little short German guy. And Mike is only, where is Mike? How did you play basketball? I thought Italians never played basketball. Jesus. And Dick Buckley, how about him? He got them buttons going for him. Hey, Dick, I'm going to tell you something. I did go to the bathroom. But hit a hell of a hard time putting this daggone thing back on, so be careful when you go there. But getting back to Ralph, you know, what a competitor he was. I mean, not only, and I had graduated and I was coaching in high school myself for a while, and we had season tickets to the Pitt games, and of course we always, you know, cheered for Ralph. But he had to play both ways in those days, you know, both offensive tackle, nose guard, and offensive guard. And he did a heck of a job. Rough, tough, always came to play. You guys can really, really trust a guy. No-nonsense guy when it came to playing. Good student. Became a fraternity man. I mean, very, very well liked on campus. And from there, of course, as you know, and his family knows, he came up here to coach and teach. And I'm sure that they wanted him to stay. The old-time coach here wanted him to stay. But he went to Uniontown and spent 4 years coaching in Uniontown. It reminded me when I was coaching at Notre Dame. He wanted to make some money. At Notre Dame, the priests take a vow of poverty and the coaches live it. So he went into industry. And he became a sales leading guy with Scott Paper Company. He was in Cincinnati, Oklahoma, and he was also went on to St. Louis. I think he only moved about 13 times. You asked Norma, we moved 15 times. She's the only wife in the NFL that knew the Mayflower Van Line drivers by their first names. But anyhow, it gives me great pleasure, and Ralph has met some of the family members, his lovely wife, his kids, and his crazy brother over here with the beard. But anyhow, it's always a lot of fun to come back here, and it's amazing to see all these people here in this great facility that you have. And whenever they called me, and Neil asked me to do this, and I said, man, I've been waiting for your call every 2 years, and you did come through for me. And let me present an old friend, a good friend, a great family man, a great Pitt guy, who has a lot of respect for a lot of people, and I think that it does the Blair County Sports Hall of Fame to induct a guy like Ralph. Back in, you know, us guys back in the late 50s and early 60s, if we get inducted in anything, we're happy. And again, after the Cleveland Brown fiasco, I thank Neil and the boys and for inviting me here, but I don't get invited too many damn places, you know. But anyhow, thanks a lot for having me, and this all gives my good friend Ralph 2006 Blair County Sports Hall of Fame inductee.